my 50-year career in showbiz.
I want you to take this from me.
Actually, where are we? 2011? Holy cow, let me see. Wait a minute.
Yeah, when did that happen?
Wait a minute. 62,
You know, it's really funny.
72, 82, 92, 2002, 2011. I am in my 49th year in showbiz. Wow.
I'm in
You've got a milestone coming up.
counting my tap dancing days, I'm in 64.
My first professional gig was in the Philippine Islands when I was in the Navy in some bar. I couldn't tell you the name of it. We played 3 songs and we got 2 beers for free. And I used to have a picture of that gig. I may still have it actually. With me on guitar, another guitar player, this guy Gary Stefani on drums, and some Filipino B-girl standing on stage like this. Oh man, oh man, oh man. My friend from Scottsdale, Arizona taught me how to play guitar.
Oh, yeah?
What was his name? Macaulay. Bob Macaulay. And before we left for our first trip to Vietnam to Westpac, I bought a guitar and an amp for $100. And he taught me how to play. That was November of 62. I got a great story. I used to practice till my fingers were bloody, and I drove everybody crazy. I was in gunnery division, and I used to go to the office after work, and I'd get my guitar, and they'd play, "Get the fuck out of here, man." So I used to go down to one of the magazines, way down on the bottom of the ship. Nobody would bother me. Came in one day after work, I'd keep my guitar in the armory, which was a back room where all the M16s and M1s.
Rifle, Telecaster, rifle.
Yeah, exactly. So I'd go in there to pick up my guitar case, and I'd go down to this magazine and practice, way down the bottom of the ship. One day I come off of work, I'm just like, we're in the Philippines, it's 150 degrees. Guitar case is a little heavy. That's okay, I figure I'm exhausted. I go all the way down, 5 levels down, like, I don't know, 60 feet down to the bottom of the ship. Open my guitar case, and there's a Thompson submachine gun in my fucking guitar case, man. And I just looked at it and I went, those motherfuckers, man. And I closed up, and I went like 7 ladders all the way back. And I just walked into the armory, and they all just looked at me and started laughing like you wouldn't believe, man. And after that, I could play my guitar anywhere. It was great.
Oh, it's funny until somebody tries to kill a North Vietnamese with a Telecaster.
It was great, man. Fuck,
Freeze.
I'll never forget that, man. Those guys were nuts. And actually, that ship, when we were in the Wackers, when we played in Portland, Oregon, in, I guess, 71 or something, maybe the fall of 71, we drove across the Willamette Bridge, and there was a wrecking yard, and there was my carrier being scrapped.
Really?
Yeah. Number 5 was on the stack, but it was painted out, but you could still see it was number 5. And I remember we were driving over the bridge, I was thinking, fuck, man, I was just on that ship like 6 years ago, 7 years ago, man. And most of it was gone. It was on the flight deck was gone. And it just was like, it was 10 o'clock at night. I remember it was late at night we got into town. And it was like just such a shock, you know, because my early life was on that ship, man. Let me tell you, went to Hong Kong, all over the Pacific, Tokyo. I still have a matchbook from the Tokyo Hilton, and in my wallet a 100 yen note from Tokyo.
Really? Yeah. How long were you in the Army for?
In the Navy.
Navy, sorry.
3.5 years.
And
great experience. I recommend it to everyone. Join the forces. At least 2 years. Join the Navy, see the world. Go around, see things, go places. Man. Unbelievable.
Where did you go?
All over the Pacific. Hawaii, Philippines, Midway, Guam, Wake, Japan, Hong Kong, Tokyo, Singapore, Shanghai, Australia, some places that would only be known to like military guys. Like we went to New Guinea, Rabaul, New Guinea, which was a real hot spot in World War II. And was in some nuclear tests. in the South Pacific. I have the certificates. Operation Dominic. Saw atomic bombs going off. In fact, a few years ago, I got an envelope with all sorts of medical information from the Atomic Veterans Association, telling me to get a checkup and do I have any problems. So I went to the doctor, got a checkup. Hey, Kootch is like fucking better than A1, man. Sent it back. I haven't heard from him since then. But I can tell you, atomic bombs are pretty awesome when they go off, man.
I hope never to see one.
No, me too. We were hundreds of miles away, and that's as far as I
I
went.
remember going across the border in Detroit that time after being delayed in Toronto for a long time, 4:30 in the morning. We're asleep, Kootch is driving, we're in the van. We get to the border crossing.
Nuclear spy to Plattsburgh.
Pissed off like crazy.
Plattsburgh.
Was it Plattsburgh? So
You,
they
me,
wake us up,
you,
and it's
me,
like,
Randy, and Cherie Porter.
okay, where are you from? San Francisco. Where do you live? Montreal. What do you do? I'm a guitar player. You, where are you from? What's your name? Where are you from? What do you do? You get to Kootch, who's just like beat red angry because we're being delayed yet again.
I'm in the back seat.
The guy says, where are you from?
Actually, it was a girl. It was a girl. It was a
We're
woman.
from Burley, Wisconsin. Where do you live? Montreal. What do you do? And he goes, I'm a nuclear spy.
She
Pull over here.
Park it over there. Oh, fuck, man.
No, there's 4 fucking hours there because you're mad.
But then the best part of it was Randy was all dressed up in his finery and his makeup and everything, so they're going to shake everybody down. And the female border guard takes them into the bathroom. And like 2 seconds later, she comes out. She says, you didn't tell me you were a guy. And he goes, yes, I did. I told you at the counter, but you wouldn't listen to me. And Cherie dumps out her bag, and there's like 50 pill bottles. She goes, I got a prescription for every one of those. Oh, God, we were at that border for like 2 hours, man.
Yeah,
we finally got
very longer
through.
than
We
2
finally
hours.
got through, man. They didn't get us for nothing. And where were we going? We were going to New York to where? Where the hell were we going?
Doesn't matter.
No, because
I'm
I'm always trying to remember the follow-up of that gig. Where were we going? Did that happen? Because that was like one of the
Obviously,
first
the gig wasn't as
times.
much fun as the border crossing was.
It was one of the first times we ever went across the border. It's like we didn't realize how close it was to Montreal.
From Montreal.
Yeah, yeah.
About 36 miles.
Well,
And I think it was the dudes. We were going across the border. No, was it the dudes?
no, the Wackers. We had all
Wackers.
kinds of drugs.
Ernie's got a cast on, right? He broke his arm, so we got Richie Henman from April Wine, Ernie, and the rest of them. And we're driving along, and I just happened to look up, and it says, border 36 miles. I went, holy fuck, Alka 3-4 grams of coke. We're all snorting the coke. We're smoking joints.
We had like enough drugs for
We're
the
trying to
Hells
get rid of
Angels for 2
everything before we
weeks.
get to the border.
36 miles. Jesus
We're in the border.
Christ.
Where are you from? Montreal, man. It's a really great city. You should go there sometime. So we're just blasted. We get across the border, and it's like, oh man, well, this is going to be a fun trip. We're just completely plowed. And I said, we have to have some. And Ernie goes, they're not. And he reaches inside of his cast on his arm. He pulls out a string, and there's a joint tied to the string, and there's some Quaalude.
There's some coke.
Blow.
There's
There's another joint. And he's pulling it out. And I got mad. I said, we could be there until like, I don't know, eternity. He says, who's gonna look in my cast? And I went,
Oh man.
thank God they didn't have a dog, Marty.
Yeah. Well, those were
But
the
they
good
did.
days.
But oh man, that was funny. It was hilarious. It was like a pinata actually. I mean, it would have been fun to just smash him in the arm with a baseball bat. Oh look, a Quaalude.
We've had so many amazing experiences, man. A movie wouldn't be long enough. I think a 90-minute movie would.
It
would have to be like a
movie.
it would have to be like a
This was
6-part
documentary before. We're
miniseries.
going to tell the stories. We'll show pictures of guys getting arrested and stuff.
It would have to be a 6-part miniseries.
I don't know about that. Us talking is so much more fun. Damn it, son, go down. I'll have another cigarette, you bastard. Fuck it, I'm brave. I'm going out there. You guys talk for a minute.
You're crazy.
I'm going to make a call. I'm going to tell two. Actually, you're in both these stories too. One about the family tree and one about the Wackers. And that's gonna wrap around.
We did this in one take, man. The first take.
What is it?
Time will carry on.
Oh, yeah, the bed trap. 10 minutes, 16 seconds.
No, 11:52.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Oh, that's really short.
Just short of 12 minutes. I always tell everybody, this is the best 12 minutes piece of music in rock and roll, man.
This is 12 minutes. Ooh.
I love this song.
We were all set up. We came in. Usher said, okay, let's run it down.
You ever heard this?
We played about...
I think so.
It's
It's in one of the stuff you sent, isn't it?
yeah.
It's...
I had to glue it together because
Hot
the idiots
Wax. Last track
did
of Hot
this
Wax.
CD separated them all.
Oh, Emer, those were the good old days, man.
When did you first meet Bob?
Wow, a long time ago. It was actually February of 1966.
Ah.
Yeah, man, I was 21. Playing at Lake Tahoe at Harrah's Club with a lounge act. This guy, Jim Burgett. We played with, oh God, man, Della Reese, Louis Prima and Keely Smith, Sam Butera and the Witnesses, like big time stuff, you know, like in the lounge at Harrah's Club. And I don't even remember how I got in that band. I was in a local band in Reno and they all got drafted in 1965. So to avoid the draft to go to Vietnam, they joined the National Guard, but they got shipped out of town for like, I don't know, a few months. And I don't remember exactly how I got into Burgett's band, but I was playing in that band like at Harrah's Club. Oh, I could tell you some stories, man. Anyways, one night we're upstairs and we're on a break, and these two guys walk in like with Stevie Ray Vaughan hats and long hair and leather jackets with fringes. And I'm sitting there going, who the fuck is that? And they walk up and they sit down with Jim and they start talking to him. So naturally I walk over because I played in a rock and roll band before that. I was fed up with Harrah's Club. So who are these guys? This is Bob and this is Van Slater, the drummer. Do you know Van? Have you ever met Van or seen pictures of Van?
I don't think so.
He was the original drummer in the family, well, the only drummer in the family tree. Very good, crazy, like a lunatic. He used to say ambulance. He couldn't say ambulance, he'd say ambulance. The guy was nuts. He'd be driving the van talking like this. He'd go, so what's happening, man? And when he looked at you to talk to you, he'd turn the steering wheel. Like, Van, just fucking drive down the road, man. Oh my God. So anyways, they showed up at Harrah's Club and I talked to them. I was with Jim and they were on, Jim had a label and they were like his rock band. This was the family tree. And wow, man. And then after they left, I thought to myself, like, that's the kind of band I want to be in, man. You know? So we played through the summer as some high school grads and stuff like that. And it was July or something like that, June or July. I was living in Reno. And I had my car all packed up, my GTO, my bass, my amp, my everything, my suitcase. I was going to leave the next day to go to LA to do an audition for the Byrds. Because Chris Hillman was leaving the Byrds to form the Flying Burrito Brothers. So I was all packed, ready to go. And it must have been, I don't know, 1 or 2 a.m. The doorbell rings at I was staying at my mom's house. She was at work. She was a car dealer in Reno. And I opened the door and it's Bob and Van. And this other guy, Mike Durr, who was the guitar player. And they go, Kootch, what's happening, man? And they walk in and I go like, wow, like, what's up? Come to LA with us and play bass in the family tree. I'm going, what? Wait, stop, what? Hey, yeah, come down. Blah, 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 blah. So they were at a hotel, came back the next morning, got in my car, I followed them down to Stockton, California. And that was the beginning of this whole insane fucking trip. The family tree, Sampaku, the Wackers, the dudes, and now this. Oh man, I'm telling you. It's just, you know, and the way things happen, Emer, it's like everything in life is a series of unlikely events. You know, life's going on and then something happens and you hook up with somebody and your whole life changes. Or you don't know what's going to happen and you see somebody you haven't seen in I don't know how many years and everything changes. Getting in the Wackers, I was in this band in San Francisco. Our drummer had a double hernia operation. He was like out, man. These were guys from Reno that I knew. I didn't know what I was doing. I was on welfare, living behind, like in front of a couch in San Francisco, like in a day room in an apartment. You know, I had my little suitcase there and like a rollout thing, and I just didn't know what I was doing. My bass was like right next to me. I was on welfare. Our singer was on welfare, Ron Barron from Reno. And we went out, we got our checks one day and we went out to have a nice Italian meal. Like, let's have a good scuff. We're starving, you know. So we went to this place way up north side of San Francisco, having this great meal, walked out of the restaurant. So I look at Ron like, oh, what's happening? He says, oh, I think I'm going to hitchhike over to Jerry's house, his girlfriend, and, you know, spend some time there. I said, okay, I'm going to go back to the house. I stepped out into the street, put my thumb out, and the first car that pulled up was Cherie Porter, who turned out to be the Wackers road manager, who I knew from the family tree days. Hadn't seen her in like, I don't know, 3 or 4 years. And she stopped and she goes, Kootch, is that you? And I go, Cherie, is that you? And she goes, I get it. She goes, where are you going? I'm going back to my house. She goes, you got to come to this party with me. Bob's got this new band called the Wackers, and they're coming to San Francisco to record. So maybe you could call him and come down and see him or something. So I went to this party, called him up. Yeah, we'll be there next week. Come down. You can start being a roadie, and maybe you can play on a couple of songs. I got one song you can play on. The song Traveling Time. It's on Wackering Heights. So I went in and I roadied for a couple of days. And Gary Usher was our producer. And yeah, I hear you can play bass. Yeah, I want a little bit, you know. All right, get out there and try it. And I played the song, and it was all downhill from then. Unbelievable. I mean, just stepping out into the street.
You made it.
Is that Bailey?
It is.
Norm! Oh my God! I can't believe it! Look at this!
Hola!
Fuck it!
This little fart.
Look at this, man! Wow! Wow, he's zowie.
Careful, I haven't had a shower yet, but you're busy.
Why? It doesn't make any sense to take a shower in this weather.
So do that.
Awesome.
I don't remember what kind of beer you wanted.
Oh.
I just was,
Is there beer in there?
there's beer in there, and I was just going price to alcohol content. I don't know how you fucking people can drink in this country. It's so goddamn expensive.
$10.95 or 6
10 cents for every 10%.
Well, they didn't have any PBR at this time.
Oh yeah, you went to the liquor store.
Fuck,
This is
you
Grand
look great,
Bishop.
man.
Hello.
What's your name? You look
Emer.
Emer?
Yes.
E-M-E-R.
Where does that come from?
It's Irish.
You look bloody young.
And you are.
Schlosser, which comes from the SS, I believe.
Fuck, does he look great, man? Just like the picture you sent.
Who took really good care of them, hydrated, moisturized, did everything good, right in the good old days? Him. Look at you.
Never did
You look
anything right.
great.
I only remember the time you shaved your eyebrows.
Oh God.
Here we go.
I wore huge
Yeah.
sunglasses for
shades.
weeks.
Yeah, giant
I'm constantly
shades.
surprised.
Oh God, this was great, man. Just great.
How'd it go?
Well, too bad Earnshaw's not here. He's not coming till tomorrow.
Doesn't get in until Friday.
He irritates me.
Yeah,
I hope you got ice, Bob.
as a matter of fact, young man.
Dave said you
Oh
did.
my
Yes,
God.
I did.
I can't stand it.
Can I
I
have a
can't
glass
believe
of
this
ice?
is happening. I cannot believe this is happening.
Can do.
We've been saying this for 2 weeks. I can't believe
Well, I'm
this.
back on.
I don't have enough
I
teeth
still
to eat
can't
them
believe
anymore.
it.
They just sort of roll around in my mouth.
Well, I had TMJ for a while, and I couldn't get
You want a glass or a glass?
a glass.
This is like seeing zombies or something.
Can do.
The living
Seeing
dead.
zombies.
Let me start you off.
The living dead, man. Dr. Bishop from Tennessee. Oh, Doc, did you bring some medicine?
I did.
Oh, good.
I brought my prescription.
It's good.
This is
Pour me a
Russian today.
glass.
This is from a drunken clam in Quahog.
Well,
That's,
I'll
family-
take good care of this.
That's Family Guy.
I'll embrace it with all.
Oh, embrace it to death. Just don't drop it.